evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's with immense pleasure I welcome you all to this book releasing event. MOKITA is a labor of love for Shri John Philipose, but it did come to fruition only after many obstacles and tribulations, thanks to his better half, Mrs. Rose Phillip, who persuaded Sir to complete this novel. A year and a half later, after completing this work, today MOKITA is being released for everyone to read. There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story within you, said the great American writer and civil rights activist Maya Angelou. Shri John Philipose is a treasure of life tales and a museum of stories. It is only befitting that he chose to be a museologist and also an incomparable artist, and eventually, by his own admission, an accidental author born during COVID. With MOKITA, his fourth literary work, he is once again curating a story, this time with untold truths and lies from the world of art. This august audience is filled with people who are beloved to Sir, and each and every one of your gracious presences here is much valued and appreciated. I now invite our esteemed guest onto the desk. I request His Excellency Mar Kuriakose Bharani Kulangara, Archbishop of Faridabad Diocese, onto the dais. I request Mrs. Rose Phillip to welcome His Excellency with flowers. Welcome, Your Excellency. Thank you, ma'am. I now request Chief Guest of today's function, Dr. Alka Pandey, art historian, curator, and author. Thank you, ma'am, for your esteemed presence here. I request Mrs. Rose Phillip to welcome Dr. Alka Pandey with flowers. Welcome, ma'am. I now request Dr. Lily George, founder and chairperson, Shalom Group of Schools, our guest of honor, to kindly come to the dais. Welcome, ma'am. I now request the man of the hour, Shri John Philipose, to kindly come to the dais. I request Mrs. Rose Philipose to welcome Sir with flowers. Welcome, sir. So you are supposed to collect flowers for yourself. How sweet. I now request Dr. Anand Bardhan, President, Museums Association of India, onto the dais. I request Mrs. Rose Philipose to welcome with flowers. Thank you, ma'am. I invite Shri R. Prasannan, Resident Editor, Malayalam Manorama and The Week, onto the dais. Thank you, sir. Welcome, sir. I request Shri M.K.G. Pillai, President, NSS Delhi, onto the dais. Welcome, sir. Thank you, ma'am. I now request Shri Dominic Joseph, President, World Malayali Council, India Region, onto the dais. I request ma'am to kindly welcome him with flowers. Once again, welcome to each one present here. I now request Shri John Philipose to address the gathering.
Namaskar. Good evening to all. Very elite clients are sitting in front of me in the audience as well as in the dais. Why I said elite? I know everybody is having a telephone gadget in their hand. I am very sure it is working and functioning. So I humbly request with folded hands, the people who in the audience are very seriously prepared to give a speech on this subject, the book release. So I say kindly put it on silence. With all humility, I hope you will accept it. I have not much to say to you because you already seen more than what I am supposed to be through my documentary film which was done almost 10 years back. I could not update it because of many reasons. Why I said it is very elite, I don't want to elaborate much. You have no idea what a blessed man standing in front of you, buying all the truth that I am not a writer. It is my passion. I never do anything which is not required and by telling my conscience. Unless I feel it, I experience it. My books are almost like Ayurveda. It is experimented with the truth, not an allopathy laboratory. The characters which you see, officially ask me, I don't know. Unofficially ask me, I know every one of them. That is the story. In 1962, if my memory goes almost 60 years back, I was just 16-year-old. Now you know what is my age is. Happened to read American Times. It's a very rare in, I think, old Taluk in college, one book was there, the American Times. We cannot afford, and it was not in circulation. Happened to read a passage. It was written, MOKITA. In the bracket, the meaning was mentioned, the truth everybody knows, hardly anybody speak. It struck my mind. Marked in my old computer. Still, I remember the cover of the magazine that was late Kennedy's photograph. Was standing with two fingers like this. So, good memory. But later years of 16 years when I was writing this book, it started in 2014. When it was concluded, I realized I have to get a title. Like you name your child, Namakaran hota hai. It is very important. I asked among the friends, relations and all. Then I decided, no, the whole contents of the story is the truth everybody knows, hardly anybody speak. That is all about this. I won't elaborate anything more about this because the speakers are here. They came to grace this occasion. They love to speak. So I will not extend my talk except I welcome, that was the most important part of the talk. And everybody say I am a very emotional person. Yes, ma'am, I am very emotional. And everybody from the audience and the stage know whoever may be. And that's what happens. Hindi में बोलता है, आंग तालाब नहीं है, फिर भी भर जाता है. आंग तालाब नहीं है, फिर भी भर जाता है. That is the case with me. अगर आंगों में आंसू नहीं आता है, emotion नहीं आता है, ये आंग किस काम का है? That's what I believe. So I rejoice. I have tears in sorrows. I have tears when I hear happy news from among friends. Even a child pass with distinction in any poor family or the rich family, irrespective of the caste, creed, my heart goes to them. So I come supposed to be the first item, but I am coming to as the last one. My job is to welcome you all. And the first is Mar Kuriakos Barangalagara, our Archbishop of Faridabad Diocese, agreed to come and grace this occasion. On behalf of you all and my family, I am so grateful. I have no wish to tell you the truth. He was in Punjab yesterday. He reached Delhi around 4 o'clock. I thought, oh my God, how he is going to make it up. With folded hands, I say, thank you, your gracious. The same thing with Dr. Lily George. Hectic schedule, family assignments, commitments, thousands of students, educationalists, honor of schools. I don't want to praise her. It's wrong. I don't want. She is very dear to me, to my soul. Thank you, Lily Madam. Dr. Lily Madam. Thank you so much for your time. Then comes Dr. Anandavardhan. Our friendship goes almost 2 decades. He's a scholar, historian, very good writer. He done his doctorate in Thanjavur painting and miniature painting. And of his generation, of his age, yet to come across a man who can speak so well, so well. I am proud of him and India will be proud of him and we will be proud of him. Thank you, Dr. Anandavardhan, for his time, for sharing with us and taking the time to read my book. Shri R. Prasannan, resident editor, Malayalam Manorama the week. Thank you, sir. You read my book very properly. He written the foreword for me. He asked me what more I can speak. I said, that is all. What you can speak more, that is what I am waiting for. Then our chief guest, Dr. Alka Pandey. How to define? She is in everywhere, in the art world, art historian, curator. I don't know anybody in the Delhi who is related to the art not knowing to Alka Pandey. Ma'am, with all humility, with whole happiness, thank you so much for accepting our invitation. I know how she obliged this. Then comes and our fatherly figure. He does not have much age difference between he and me, but I say I wanted to be, he is very old and I should grow along with him. Mr. M. G. Pillai, the president of the Nair Society of Delhi, but more than that, a wonderful human being. I don't like to praise the people in front of, but I cannot hesitate to say, he is to me so much, and so much. Thank you for your kind. There are many people sitting across to me in the front row. Mr. Kalcharan Gupta, President of Academy of Visual Media, George Kalvailil, Chief Bureau of the Diviga, Alex Joseph, Attorney at Law, and my publisher Shalini Gupta and his assistant. And now I have to name every person. It takes long time, but I cannot hesitate. Manuel's, Diloni Kathakali's secretary, Shivashankaran, Sundaresan, and so many of my artist fraternity, my dear Dr. Sangi. I should take every name, then you will be very boring. I want you to introduce yourself. After this program, I'll come to you to each and one. At the last, Mr. Alexander, George Alexander, from Muthoot Groups. And see, biologically, we are all connected. Say, my son, my daughter, my sister and brother. No, I don't believe in it. You cannot meet me unless you have some relation with me. In being a Christian, you may not accept it. I'm a very Catholic practicing Christian, but I believe in rebirth. No one ever could meet me, he was not having some connection with me. It can be late PKD Nambiar or his wife or children, I don't want to name it. Everyone who is sitting here is related to me. Trust me, I say I can feel it. One of the great examples is that. And he is not supposed to be here, but I was absolutely aching in my heart. Every occasion his father was there. I said, he is no more, but his son is there. I left the message. I never expected that he will reciprocate me. Around 3 o'clock he says, Uncle, I'll try to come. I said, my program is complete. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Not only you are honoring your institution, you are honoring a member person who loves me, core of the heart. God bless you. God bless you all. Say, thank you so much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, and a warm welcome to you too. I now request our chief guest and the dignitaries on the dais to kindly light the lamp and inaugurate this function. This year marks a tragic year for the mankind with tragedies, natural and man-made, calamities and war all across the world and in our country. Let us remember those departed souls and living martyrs all around the world and observe a minute's silence while we light the lamp. We'll felicitate John Philipose, sir. I request His Excellency Mar Kuriakos Bharanikulangara and Dr. Alka Pandey to kindly felicitate sir with a shawl. Philipose on his book release, MOKITA. Our chief guest and guest of honor is now felicitating Shri John Philipose on his 4th literary work, MOKITA. Can we all give him a big round of applause? Congratulations, sir. I now invite His Excellency Mar Kuriakos Bharanikulangara for his blessing speech.
The author of the day, our dear Philipose Edden, and Rosama Chechi, distinguished guests on the dais, and my dear friends. First of all, I felicitate and congratulate Mr. Philipose John on this occasion for the publication or release of this beautiful novel, MOKITA. I was privileged to have a copy of this book a couple of weeks ago. He brought to me and asked me to have a look at it. I did not read the whole thing, but it looks, as we say, sounds good. It looks very nice novel. Mr. Philipose John is known, as we saw in the video, as a museologist. He has been connected with national, international museums. Then also as an interior architect. But I would say the best part of Mr. Philipose John is as a traveler. And we expect best travelogues from him and from these couples. The title of the book is MOKITA. I was asking, what does it mean, these two dots on O? In German language, there is a letter called umlaut, and that changes the pronunciation. And he told this is actually a Caribbean expression. In every language, in every culture, there are certain expressions which we cannot translate. MOKITA is an expression, a terminology like that, as it was explained by our author, in the Caribbean culture. That means a truth everybody knows, but nobody speaks. How will we translate this into Malayalam, for example? We have also certain expressions like this. Aramana Ragasyam Angadi Pattu. All know about this, but nobody would dare to speak it in public. MOKITA means it is something as it is written, a truth everybody knows, but nobody speaks. As a churchman, I would like to share another expression in Italian. It is also very clear in English. We say pontifical secret. Pontifical secret. That means when a new bishop is appointed, for example, or when a cardinal is named, a letter would come from Rome, and there it is written, you should not tell anybody. But immediately the whole world knows about it. Even though we say it is a pontifical secret, all will come to know about that. So it went to that extent. Now we say pontifical secret. Jokingly we say that is a secret that all know except the Pope. So I once again congratulate our dear artist, author, Mr. Philipose John, and I wish this book will have a wider readership. Congratulations.
I now invite Dr. Lily George, our guest of honor, to deliver the felicitation speech.
As our dearest author has entrusted me with this task, I am happily fulfilling it so. I request Mr. Alex Joseph, advocate on record of the Supreme Court, to grant me anticipatory bail just in case I trip over my words. Having said that, I strongly believe that genuine and great artists are more than just their names. Their heartbeat flows into their body of work, breathing life into every stroke they make, every note they create, and every performance they do. This is one aspect of the world, but our author wants readers to understand another world, a make-believe world. hiding the truth, where everything is carefully crafted and conceived like a nuclear secret. And that is all about the novel MOKITA, a truth beyond truth everyone knows, but nobody dared to speak. After understanding the content of the book, I was thinking that our author, who has so forensically exposed forgery in his book, particularly in that world, must have spent countless thoughtful hours curating the guest list for today's function. We are truly fortunate that none of us have so far fallen under the sharp gaze of his critical radar. This clearly shows that the author has a great opinion about all of us present here. It is indeed a great merit to our account. I have gone through the novel, reflecting on its themes, settings, and insights. I have perused through the preface and the foreword of the book. And as our resident editor of Malayalam Manorama, our President G stated, and I quote, "Art fraud did not shock me, rather it amused me." Unquote. I too was amused, as there are many hilarious narratives throughout the novel. Humor in MOKITA often stems from the tension between characters who avoid speaking uncomfortable truth, a central theme of the book. It reminded me of a hilarious speech delivered by a prominent person who expressed great concern for a thief. According to him, the job of a thief was the riskiest, the hardest, as the thief had to scheme and manipulate for many days, making strategies, have to rob and not to be caught. And by chance, if he is caught by the police, imagine the trauma. I was wondering if that speaker had read MOKITA, his opinion would have changed, and the ranking of the thief as having the riskiest job would have been replaced by that of an art forger. For example, in chapter 6, we witness a prime example of betrayal, deception, and theft when Anjana Pillai's painting is sold in her absence by none other than her trusted acquaintance and the framer. Together, they orchestrated a forgery that leaves Anjana shattered upon discovering the truth. I was wondering, who can one trust when even the framer is framing you? Taking someone else's work, placing a hefty price tag with an artistically created signature at the bottom to earn money and celebrity status in society needs guts or bulletproof skin. Do ghost painters really exist? It seems almost unimaginable to me. Back in the early 90s, I was invited by our dear author to his studio at Andheri Mode for a painting exhibition he had organized. I went with a friend, and I was in awe of the stunning work created by a young artist, which Mr. John Philipose so proudly displayed and explained with passion. The atmosphere was filled with joy, admiration, and deep sense of connection. Poetry in motion was felt every corner and in every stroke of the brush. It was magical. After going through such a beautiful experience at his studio, how could I have imagined that ghost painters exist? And now, the same artist, Mr. John Philipose, who promoted the work of junior artists, has written this bold narrative, MOKITA. I couldn't help but wonder whether the characters and events in the book are purely a product of his imagination, or drawn from real life experiences. Either way, I admire his creativity and the brilliance that flows effortlessly from his genius. At the same time, I wonder how many boxes filled with the secrets the author has in the locker of his mind. Remember, only 200 pages have come out of his box so far. I marvel what will trigger in the next release. The story resonates deeply with readers from Delhi, as the places narrated are all well known and familiar, like Akepuram, Munirka, Gymkhana, Lalit Kala Academy, etc. These landmarks add a layer of authenticity, making the narrative more real and closer to the hearts of the readers. The plot of the novel is enthralling, delving into themes such as love, societal expectations, authority, self-identity, emotional secrecy, competitiveness, and the multitude of issues today in today's society. I could quote many examples from the book, but I must limit myself due to time constraints. Mr. Alex Joseph mentioned in the foreword that MOKITA introduces over 45 characters in just 200 pages. If he spent the time to count them, imagine the profound impact these characters must have had. Each one is a unique specimen, carefully sculpted by our dearest sculptor author. While Daniel may be the protagonist, the two women, Seema, the ambitious and powerful dynamite, and Mary, the resilient, efficient, and diligent woman, dominate the narrative, leaving an unforgettable mark on the society. The principal of Delhi International School, Seema. Oh, what a woman. Her character was so imposing that I had to read another novel just to calm my nerves, to eradicate my fear and my suspicion about the principal of our own school. Dear Alex Muthoot, if you read this, you will also feel the same. In contrast to the women characters, the two gentlemen, their spouses, Brigadier Chopra, husband of Seema, and Anthony, husband of Mary, are portrayed as men of character with the finest qualities of dignity and integrity. It's a point to ponder. You can clearly read in chapter 2 where it says, when Seema, that is the wife, Seema loses her cool, the brigadier falls silent. It's quite amusing. I thought to myself that the brigadier must have successfully fought many battles, but in front of his wife, he has definitely mastered the art of a strategic silence. I was really wondering from where our author collects such information. Rosie Chechi is not like Seema. Then from where? Most certainly he must be using services of ghost informers. The novel is crafted in such a manner that every paragraph invites us to pause and reflect, sparking questions that make us ask why, when, where, who, and how. For example, why did Seema Chopra, the principal of Delhi International School, feel compelled to engage in forgery? What if the truth had come to light within the student community? Likewise, each character is layered with complexities, raising countless questions that compel us to dig deeper. Just as an artist blends primary, secondary, tertiary colors to create depth and vibrancy in a painting, Mr. John Philipose blends the emotional spectrum of his characters, romanticizing multiple themes with the use of precise words. His narrative style is both intricate and descriptive. His attention to micro and macro details make the readers feel as though they are part of the world he has created. From the functioning of the day-to-day operations of a school principal, to the daily routines of the hospital staff, and even the functioning of orphanages, this authenticity grounds the novel, making it relatable. The revelation of the mother-son relationship silently through a painting in a crowded auditorium at the end was both clever and an emotional move. The truth unfolded elegantly without a crescendo, adding a layer of sophistication to the storytelling and bringing the narrative to an impactful conclusion. So today, we are not just celebrating a book. We celebrate a story that challenges, captivates, and makes us look beyond surface. A great moral to be learned from this novel is the power of integrity and authenticity in a world often clouded by deception. It reminds us that true success is not built on dishonesty or shortcuts, but on genuine effort, ethical choices, and unwavering commitment to what is right. The story serves as a powerful reflection on the consequences of wrongdoing, urging us to uphold the values of truth and honor in everything we do. On a personal note, our dearest Achaya, we are all here to celebrate the brilliance you so richly deserve. Rosie Chechi, your partnership is a testament to love, loyalty, and mutual respect. Your smile and strength not only uplift him, but inspire everyone around you. Congratulations to our dearest child for gifting MOKITA, a novel that will undoubtedly leave a lasting impact on everyone who turns its pages. Thank you so much.
I now request Dr. Anand Bardhan, President, Museums Association of India, to deliver the felicitation speech.
I have hundreds of interactions with Shri Philipose ji, and I personally, as a student of art, realize that his journey as an artist is the quest to relish the spiritual effulgence of the Almighty. It is a work of subtleties, his experiences, and his very profound understanding of the arena of art that exists in Delhi. There is a word in Sanskrit, anabhivyakta. So, what has been anabhivyakt, not manifested and not well expressed, he has tried to present that in a form of just not a novel, but a narrative of experiences. This book is very remarkable in terms of the continuum of the so-called dynamic modern contemporary culture which is changing with great momentum in Delhi. And what is happening around that colossal column of artistic perception? Personalities have their own power, whether it is Seema, Sunita, Daniel, Surya, and many others. They all have expressed themselves with a sense of self-strength, number one, but at the same time, there is some sort of ambition, a fatal flaw of the personality. All Shakespearean tragedies, they move around the fatal flaw of a particular personality. But here you have given it a very well-Indianized orientation. There is some hope. There is hope for change. There is, of course, well-defined result for a struggle. And very interestingly, you have selected some places, whether it is Triveni or Gadhi, and a very abiding description of a place like Sangam Vihar. It makes it very interesting. You have presented that contested terrain of art in very lucid manner, but at the same time, very frolicsome manner. The spectacular art world as it appears, a world of gala celebrations, and the real spectrum of culture, it is very abiding and it is very, very inspiring as well. So with all these words, I feel highly obliged that you invited a novice to this dais of diamonds. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks, sir.
I now request Mr. R. Prasanna, resident editor of Malayalam Manorama, to deliver his felicitation speech.
Thank you, Mr. Philipose, for inviting me to this function and asking me to say a few words. But as I told you at that time itself, there was no need to invite me to make a speech here, because for two reasons. One, of course, is that if I start speaking, I may reveal a lot about the book. And if I reveal a lot about the book, people won't buy the book after that. So I don't want that to happen to you. Secondly, I have written the preface to the book, and that the author has already honored me with that. So there is not much to speak, but let me try. As you would have known by now, this book is about the world of art and all the frauds in the world of art. Very few writers have attempted anything like that. And for, again, two reasons. One, of course, is that very few know about it. It's much of a secret word. I didn't know so much about it till a few months ago. That's another reason which I will tell you later. And the other reason is that those who know dare not write about it. That also you told me when you came to me. So that's what the two reasons, but I still don't know why I was then asked to write the preface, because the word of art and me don't go together, because I don't claim to be a person of artistic mind. I'm as dull as a wallflower, I can say. But then this book is, as I said, not about art, but about frauds. So Mr. Philipose might have thought that I have a fraudster's mind. That's why he asked me to write the preface. Honestly speaking, I came to know much about the world of art and the frauds in the art of the world of art only a few months ago, or one and a half years back. I had to do a little research at that time, 3 years ago, about the frauds and scams in the world of art and artifacts. The provocation, of course, most Malayalis would know, was about Kerala's own fraudster, Mr. Naturlal, Mr. Monson Maungal. That time I did some research. And when I did that research, I found that the frauds, the Monsons and all that, were nothing compared to the real scams in the world of art in Europe and elsewhere. Do you know that more than a dozen fake paintings of the 16th century European painters have been made by one Giovanni Bastiani, and two of them are still in the Victoria and Albert Museum in London. And also, a wooden statuette of Madonna, believed to have been from the 13th century, is still kept in the Cleveland Museum. and that it was fake was discovered only some 20-25 years back. But let's not always condemn these fraudsters. They have also saved art. I'll give you couple of stories. When the Nazis had invaded the entire Europe, of course, Hitler's Panzer divisions invaded the entire Europe, and they reached Holland. And Hitler's own field marshal, Hermann Göring, was the man in charge there. So Göring, the Nazi field marshal, he had a passion for art. So what he did was, he raided all the museums, collected as much of the classic paintings as possible. Of course, one thing, he paid a little for that. He didn't actually loot. He paid a little to the museum owners or museum curators and all that, and carted away most of those classic paintings. Now, after the war, the Germans, the Dutch, in the Holland, there was an inquiry, and they wanted to find out who actually facilitated this stealing of the paintings by Göring. And then it was found that there was a guy, one of the museum curators, Van Meegeren. Van Meegeren was a museum curator in Holland who had actually sold most of the paintings especially of John Warmier, who was a 17th century painter. Now, all these were given to him, claiming to be 17th century. When the inquiry was proceeded, and this fellow who sold it was brought to trial in Holland. But at the trial, he dropped a bombshell. He said, I didn't actually sell Warmier's paintings. I sold fakes. I sold fakes to the great German field marshal Göring. And he also said, I made a lot of money out of it also. Something around 16,000 pounds he made. But where are the real paintings? He said, they are in my godown at home. But they won't still believe it. Nobody can actually fake or imitate the great Warmier's paintings. He said, I will show it to you. In the court, in front of all the judges and advocates, he did it. So he proved that a scamster can be as good as the master. That's it. Now, the good news is, those are, the paintings are safe. But I now drop the biggest bombshell. During the Renaissance period, when art and artifacts from ancient Greece and Rome came to be much coveted, they still are. There was a cardinal in Rome who was actually collecting a lot of ancient or Greek statuettes and all that. So he was looking for one, and one day a young boy, not boy, he was a teenager, a young artist, came to the bishop and told him, to the cardinal, and told him that this is a Cupid statuette from ancient Greece. So the bishop believed it, he checked everything, it looked really old. So the bishop paid a good price, and this young fellow just vanished. And that young fellow was none other than Michelangelo. During his young days, he was starving. So he also made some money by faking art. That's the word of art. So Mr. Philipose would know much better than I. If I had too many bombshells, I'm sorry about it. Thank you very much. And Mr. Philipose, I hope the book will do well, and I expect a sequel also. Thank you.
I now request our esteemed chief guest, Dr. Alka Pandey, art historian, curator, and author, to address the gathering on this occasion.
Sarvamangal Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sarthike Sharne Trambike Gauri Narayane Namostute. I am beginning with salutations to the auspiciousness of auspiciousness herself, to the divine feminine, to the creative feminine, because these are the days of the Durga Puja, and the Durga was created by the joint energies of our primordial gods, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. It also is very, very in with what we are doing with DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusiveness. So we have a perfect gender balance on that. While I was sitting on the stage, John whispered to me, oh, I forgot to mention my wife. So I wanted to begin with salutations to the creative feminine and to the energy and the Shakti behind the person who wrote this wonderful book. I love the title. It's very, very interesting, and the deeply layered, nuanced language to it. Truth, who everyone knows but is scared to speak. This goes very much into the ecosystem that I am living in too. The world of art, and if I may have the indulgence of all the dignitaries on the stage, to say that often, whether it is the performing or the plastic arts, sometimes it is the most impure in the purest world. But that is the beauty of art itself. When you are looking at absolute beauty, where is the line between what we call the most beautiful and the most non-beautiful? Because if you look at what Aristotle said, that all art is imitation, Plato, who said that all art is imitation, and it's only poetry which is the highest form of art, and what we get is from nature around. These are things which I think of often, and John in his book, in fact, which is a fictionalized way of telling his own experiences, has brought about the nature as different to what nature is represented by practitioners, the nature of the ecosystem of art, which has always been a bit of a circus from time immemorial. As Prasannan said, that Michelangelo also made, and the greatest, whose work is in one of the most sacred spaces at the Sistine Chapel, made work through forgery. What I also liked about the fact was that John used the narrative of storytelling, because storytelling is the most powerful way of putting ideas in the world today. Stories are also the oldest form of communication. Storytelling is the commonality of all human beings in all places and all times. And the purpose of a storyteller is not to tell you how to think, but give you questions to think. And stories have to be heard and seen, and they cannot die. We cannot remember who we are or why we are. So this is an important part of storytelling, and John has used every part of the techniques of storytelling to expose the system of the commodification of art. Because if you look at why was art created, it was actually man's tribute. Or if we look at in traditional Indian art, it was about unity with Godhead. It was the whole man's experience to make the image of God in the form of man, whether it's the Judeo-Christian thought or Hindu thought. When you look at the non-nirguna, you look at the image of God in the image of man. And the techniques of storytelling which John has used, I find them quite interesting. And if you see, his protagonists are women. And they can be the most lethal as well. And as you all know, they always say that the female of the species is deadlier than that of the male. So I've enjoyed that very much, and I just want to read just a little bit of it because my colleagues have all talked of the criticality, they've analyzed it, and it's wonderful that we've all done our homework out of sheer fright. So I just wanted to read one paragraph, brings John's voice into the forefront and talk of the human aspect. And this book is actually an unputdownable. He may not be the Arundhati Roy of our country getting the Booker, but definitely he's a crackling storyteller. We all need storytellers. So this is about the protagonist, one of the protagonists, Daniel. He sat in one corner of their living room, lost in deep thought. All he could think about was Seema Man, and what it was about her that made him want to cling to her, run to do her bidding. Was it because she had ensured financial stability and security? Yes, that must be the reason. No more isolation, the fear of childhood memories, or loneliness. Now he had the responsibility of looking after his wife Sarah. His self-appraisal concluded that there was nothing wrong with what he was doing. In the given situation, he's trying to do his best. There is a lot to give and take, but a sense of responsibility and integrity always played a pivotal part in any project that he took charge of. Sarah now and then indirectly reminded him how celebrities promoted their spouses, siblings, and children. Fortunately, she would say, we are not yet parents. Otherwise, it would have been a more serious issue. So there are lots of parts in this book which are very human, lots of them which talk of the insecurities of mankind, womankind, and having worked with a lot of artists, some very, very successful, some very, very ambitious, one common thing which I saw with all of them was this deep-seated insecurity. And that John has brought out beautifully in his narrative, in his storytelling. So for those who have not bought the book or got the book, I suggest you read this crackling, very human story of where art is today. And it's interesting. It raises a lot of questions. But you know, it's not, I'm a positive person and I live in this, as I keep using my favorite word, ecosystem. There's a lot of good also which is happening. There are a lot of good people. There's a lot of ethics, and there are lots who haven't sold out. But that doesn't mean the edge of the sword, the other side, is not there. So it's a very interesting, challenging, dynamic, and a vibrant world. So thank you for giving us this book. Thank you very much.
And now we have come to the most important part of today's function. I request our chief guest, Dr. Alka Pandey, to release the novel MOKITA by Mr. John Philipose by presenting it to His Excellency Archbishop Mar Kuriakose Bharanikulamara. I now request Mr. M.K.G. Pillai, President NSS Delhi, to kindly say a few words on this joyous occasion.
Tell you, he was talking about rebirth and the relations and all. I really believe in it. I think we heard something we brought together. I respect this rare human being for his human qualities a lot. That is what Philipose is. Philipose is incomplete without Rosie. Rosie is a real inspiration to him, inspiration to us, and she is the best PRO face of Philipose. His virtues I have happened to witness many times on many forums. He is an unusual human being. We had a very senior respected friend called Baburam. Baburam, on his demise, there was a condolence function in Kerala House. I was a speaker to condole his demise. While talking about the Baburamji, I mentioned casually that Baburamji was to make a bust of, sculpture a bust of Mannath Padmanabhan to be displayed in our cultural center on a date scheduled by the President of India to inaugurate it. I just mentioned it. After I finished my condolence message, suddenly Philipose rose and with his smiling face he told that, don't worry, it will be done by me. That is what Philipose is. I never asked him. I didn't even know that he is a sculptor also. That is what the Philipose is. And within the short time, he has sculptured beautiful bust of Mannath Padmanabhan, and it was displayed there. It was inaugurated by the then President of India, Pranab Mukherjee, in the presence of so many distinguished people from India and abroad. I don't name everybody. That was a touching experience for me and my colleagues who work for that. On this occasion, how to felicitate him is to pray for his health, his peaceful, healthy life with a beautiful family God has given to him for a long time. I wish him all the very best in his literary career ahead, and we are always with you and we pray for you. God bless you. Thank you very much.
I now invite Advocate Alex Joseph.
I had the privilege to go through the novel before its publication itself, as rightly mentioned by Philipose sir. So my note on this book is, obviously, the contribution of this novel, apart from disclosing or exposing the fraud which was practicing or maybe practicing even now also in the art world. As a literary work, it has several other dimensions also. The most important contribution of this novel is its name itself, MOKITA. How a book or a novel or any literary work will survive through the ages is, as per my understanding and analysis, is how it influenced the normal life of an ordinary man. That may be the reason any book or any publication or any literary work may become famous also, like Shakespeare. We may not be reading, or all of us might not have gone through many of the literary work of Shakespeare. But everyone heard about famous quote, "You too, Brutus." I am sure many of the ordinary person in their daily life might have used this word, "You too, Brutus." It means Julius Caesar does not want to make a speech. "Oh Brutus, I have never expected this. I have done so many things. I had a high expectation from you." He didn't say anything else. Simply said one sentence, you too, Brutus. That is enough. For Mogida is concerned, me as a lawyer, I'm sure when all of you also will be reading through this book, Mogida would be a word in your daily life. A son can be used, a father can use the word against a son. Mogida, I never respected. It means truth we know, but we do not want to speak. Citizen can look at the leaders, Prime Minister, and can say proudly, Mogida, truth everybody know, but no one dare to speak. One retired Chief Justice, he is no more. He elevated his own sister at the age of 58, hardly no practice. But now we got a word, we can very much say Mogida. Truth everybody knows. And when one judgment passed, we may be knowing several judgments are getting passed. So we lawyers are feeling difficulty how we will tell to the word. But after reading this novel, thanks to Philipose sir, because we got a word, Mogida. Truth everybody knows. But we do not want to speak. And apart from that, in another angle of this novel conveys several sweet messages in simple words. Like again the Shakespeare, we all heard, and we may also sometimes feel, he defines life. The definition given by the Shakespeare to the life is this: life is a tale of stupid story told by an idiot, full of noise, sound nothing. Famous quote. Sometimes in our daily life we may also feel, whatever the achievement we get, we remember Shakespeare because of that word. Life is a tale of stupid story told by an idiot, full of noise, sounds nothing. That obviously any ordinary man will remember in his daily life. The quote is this: when an unknown person appreciates or recognizes an individual, it is their personality that is being appreciated. Next one. Love was lost in a strict world. The next one. Life can take unexpected turns in human relations, no matter your age, society, or social status, while still being committed to family life. Human relations can form quickly and end abruptly. It happens to everyone at least once in their lives. Sometimes it leads to great happiness, but can also end in deep pain and regret. And another one, I am not taking much time, 1 more minute more. You cannot ignore, when born into a good family, that no bad name should be brought upon the parents and the society we belong to. And obviously, the last one, that I hope everyone will agree also. Mothers are usually loving, but when it comes to their children, they are extremely selfish. And at the end, I would say, being a Keralite, all of you might have seen the film Udayananu Taram. This novel in its content, I am sure all of you would be obviously enjoy and reflect that movie also. Where the story is a local village person named Rajappan turned out to be Dr. Padmasri Saroj Kumar. So I hope all of you obviously will be enjoying the reading of this novel. Once again, I facilitate and congratulate John Philipose sir, and grateful to sir also for making me giving an opportunity to read this wonderful novel. Thank you so much.
I now request Dr. Albert Abraham, Assistant Professor IIMC, to address the gathering.
So publishing a novel is a significant achievement in the life of a creative and compulsive writer. So from the bottom of my heart, I can say that John Philipose sir is one of the finest humans I had ever met. So I consider it as a precious opportunity or a privilege to speak before this august gathering or audience. You may wonder why I stand here. So I was fortunate to read the first draft of this novel in October 2020. So in communication studies, there is a notion that message reveals the messenger. So the novel throws, in fact, lights into the life and personality or career of John Philipose, sir. As one of the first readers of the draft, so I can say that this novel is an outcome or manifestation of three attributes of John Philippose's life and personality. One is obviously his experience, secondly, the observation skills, and third, his creativity. I wish to speak a couple of lines about each of these attributes. Coming to the first attribute, that is his experience. The storyline is from his 50 years of experience as an artist. No character or incident detailed in this story or in this novel is purely fictitious. Coming to his observation skills, John Philipose possesses sharp observation skills to understand and analyze people, institutions, and the socio-cultural developments. If you read the novel, you may come across people, places, and institutions you may be familiar with. The novel is a sharp analysis of the art industry and the socio-cultural lives of many people, including many Malayalis in Delhi. So with its analytic approach, the novel has an academic and research value as well. Coming to the creativity aspect, as we know, John Philipose is a versatile artist. He is a painter, sculptor, museologist, designer, and a writer. Earlier, he published short stories and novels in Malayalam. I got the opportunity to read them as well. So in this novel also, you will see creative rendering of the stories of people and incidents with letters. Literally, he sculpted this novel with words. You may be taken to the unheard and the unseen if you read the novel. Therefore, I strongly recommend everyone to read this novel, MOKITA. I wish all readers an enriching reading experience. And also, I humbly request the author to write an autobiography detailing his decades-long experience as an artist, and we genuinely deserve it. Thank you so much.
We have with us Ms. Shalini Gupta, founder and director of Zorba Books. As you all know, Zorba Books is the publisher of MOKITA.
What I realized is when you mentioned the word museologist, it's a very limiting word in my opinion. And when I actually saw the video here for Mr. Philipose, I realized his role is far bigger than a museologist. He's not only a sculptor, he's also a painter, and he's also an architect. So for me, it was really eye-opening to see this video of Mr. John Philipose, because it really opened my eyes to what all he really does. He goes far beyond just a small word museologist. He's into painting and sculpting as well. Also, another thing that I would like to comment on, which I had seen in the video, is they had said that artist is also a very emotional person. And I would really agree with that, because what I saw here was such a warm welcome, and everybody was very outgoing and very, very warm. And I think that reflects, if that is a part of an artist, being warm and being very emotional, that was very well reflected here as well. And also, like Rose ma'am mentioned, that he's a perfectionist. As a publisher, we saw his perfectionist nature come out during the publication of the book. And I would endorse that as well. Yes, he does go into perfectionism as well. MOKITA is the fourth book that he's taken out, and his contribution has been immense. And I would just like to say this much about MOKITA. We've heard a lot about MOKITA, so I'm sure that we leave the rest to you all to really read about it and find out what exactly is in MOKITA. I would like to say MOKITA is important for 3 reasons. And the first reason is it's a novel. It entertains us. The second is it captures a slice of our present times. It's very important to capture your present times so your future generations know what our times were like. And the third very important part is it tells us about a part of the world which we are really not very familiar with. We know about a lot, but art world is something most of us have very little familiarity. So it tells us about art fraud, and it tells us about the intrigues that take place in the art world. With this, I'd like to come to the end. I would just encourage all of you to not only buy the book, to read it, and if you find that you like what you read, to go ahead and let others know about the book, and also to gift the book. There are lots of occasions that are coming up, ending with the New Year's. So please go ahead, and thank you all very much for listening to me. Thank you.
I now request Shri Kalicharan Gupta, President, Academy of Visual Arts Media, to kindly say a few words on this occasion.
How I contact with this one, Mr. Philipose, we had India and Korea exchange program, the workshops. Workshop, it means the 8 artists are coming from the Korea, and from being my country, there are more artists are here. So we had that workshop in Khajuraho. And Khajuraho, it means that that hotel, it was belonged to Mr. Philipose. So he helped us a lot, and we came to just contacted him. So I know that he was an artist. He was just doing on this is what are you doing with this on? We met you. You're just making some this on 26th of Republic Day and something, no? So this tableau. So he was just very busy with the tableau. I just met him over there, but in just is near to the India Gate and something. So I went over there and I met him. Okay, well, Mr. Gupta, don't worry, we'll that Kalichandji, I know you very well, and we can just do it. And after that, he just been is a very good trustee. So I just know him. Just he is he's not only a one, but the first of all, he's a very good person, very good human being. And I think being an artist, first of the person, first of an artist, he should be a very good human being. So he is the person and who helped me, and after that he joined my trust as a trustee, and we are getting in a lot of the things with him. So he sometimes he bought the works also from the trust, and he helped the trust with money also. He spent the money, he collect the money, he just doing is lot of the things with us. And this time, but it was in Korea, this is the second time, I think so you went there, in the second time, he went to Korea, is for the 7 days, and this time I couldn't move over there, because then he handled the whole of the things. So I'm just as proud of him. So lot of the people, they were just asking lot of the things, although I just didn't go through the book, is MOKITA. So when I just will go through it, then I will just talk to him, just what you had just written and something. A lot of the people talked about the books, but I didn't. So I want to say this one only, and that was thank you so much.
I now request Shri George Kallivaili, Delhi Bureau Chief Deepika, to kindly say a few words.
I should congratulate my elder brother, my most humble friend, John Philipose and Rosie Chechi. I haven't seen such a big-hearted, loving couple in Delhi. He's such a nice man, because usually I have heard about artists, museologists are very egoistic. But I have seen a man who reached the Himalayan tower of artistry or that culture. But he is so humble, as like the same Trikoditanam John Philipose. So many people have narrated big things about this, especially my good friend Dr. Lily George has gone into the details of this. I have gone through the book. I will read only one paragraph which will show, because she is a principal, one Seema principal is trying to become an artist, and one Daniel is his character. Principal says, Daniel, be open and frank. You can tell me what is in your mind, she said. Ma'am, we are a group of 4 artists from the same college, Amal, Ranjan, and of course Surya. All are painters. All are struggling artists. None of them has a regular income to survive except me. All are doing painting, commissioned assignments, partly for housewives who have aspirations to be painters and to be in the limelight. He said in one breath. You mean the ladies buy paintings? Seema wanted to clear the doubts. No, ma'am, they commission the work. We do the painting, they only sign and write their name on the back. This just one paragraph makes you understand what is this MOKITA is all about. This is so interesting. I was reading it just 3 days ago. I started reading during my trip to Srinagar to cover the Jammu Kashmir elections. I couldn't even stop reading it. Such an interesting, I request my dear friend John Philipose and dear Rosi Chechi, please do more writings. We need such. Everybody mentioned about all his qualities. But one more thing I will add. I haven't seen such a person with very good humor sense. He is so humble, dear. Thank you. I wish all the best.
I now request Shri J.K. Verghese, known to all Delhi Malayalis as Sannichayan, to deliver the felicitation speech.
I am amazed at the erudite, scholarly persons sitting on the dais, and I am happy to be part of this elite house. Now, I am not here to enlarge, exaggerate, or expand the qualities of our friend John Philipose. Much has been told about him, and it's on record also. You have seen the video, and it cannot be erased. MOKITA, of course, the narrative of this book is very simple. Very simple. In layman's language he writes, and he writes decently. He writes within the language. He doesn't step out of it in letter of cuss words or 4-letter words. See, the trappings of fame would turn any mediocre or ordinary writer or creator, artist, to turn slightly towards pulp, like our Harold Robbins. So here, in this book, there are a few chances where he could have transgressed into the world of pulp writing. But those incidents were part of the story, but he has simply mentioned it very gently, nicely, and in a mediocre way. So that is one of the beauty of the writing. Now, in the theme of the book, we know about surrogacy. We know about the surrogate children, surrogate whatever it is, but ultimately, after reading this book, we also know about the activities of surrogate creativity. I mean, I am not doing something, this madam is doing something for me, I pay her something and I get the name, surrogacy. Okay, so that is prevalent in every sphere of life. Now, what he does very conveniently and very mildly is to expose or unveil the ugly and vulnerable underbelly of the type of chaos and business happening in the world of art, especially in the world of painting. So that he has brought out very nicely, and I think the world is real and the characters are fictitious or fictional. It appears like that. Even though he tries to kind of weld it together at many places, we are bound to believe that, yes, I also know about this. But as the title of the book says, I'm afraid to say that, or I don't want to say that. So he has put us into that dilemma there. Okay. Now, we, the Mallus, are fortunate to read some of his vernacular writing also. 4 books he has brought out, and excellent. The problem is, you cannot translate or transwrite this humorous books or humor which is written in one's own language. You know, thinking comes in the mother tongue. So when you translate it, it's gone. So I have the fortune to read many of his books, and you know, it takes you down to the level of your what do you call this, nostalgia. Here is a story which is known as Remani. It's about a slightly elderly lady and the adolescent escapades of we, the boys of those days, may be prevalent now also, you know, with the elderly hangers on in our houses. It is very beautifully explained there, and you tend to be a part of that story. So there are many stories like that, and one more I have to mention. There is a story known as Kappa. Kappa means tapioca. I don't know whether the non-Malayalis knows about it. There is a group of Syrian Christians from Kerala. They are migrating to Satna in MP, and the church has ordered them to carry the seeds of the kappas, and you cultivate it there because it is part of our Syrian Christian life. We can propagate the religion through propagating kappa also. That may be the reason behind the church's directive for these pilgrims to take these kappas to. So then we know he's a brilliant museologist and whatnot. Everything has been talked here. But what happened was, when the world of art and museology has gained, we, the Malayalis, have lost a wonderful writer. Our loss has been the gain of some other field somewhere. But now, since he has been into, his passion is into writing, especially into Malayalam, sir, because thinking comes in the mother tongue. So, we would expect him to enlighten us and enliven us with more humorous and human touchy stories in future to come, and we all look forward to those days, sir, and we would like to have much more opportunities like this in future. So with that happy note, sir, I salute you on behalf of all of us who are present here, and yes, of course, I cannot miss Rosie Cheche here. I have been a regular visitor to their home, and it's not fair to say how hospitable they are. Not hostile, hospitable they are. And you may also have the chances of meeting them in their den one day. Thank you, sir. God bless you.
I now invite Mr. Dominic Joseph, President World Malayali Council India Region, to propose the vote of thanks.
Dear esteemed guests, distinguished dignitaries and friends, we are overwhelmed with the gratitude as we gather here today to celebrate the release of MOKITA. This momentous occasion would not have been possible without the collective effort of many individuals, and we would like to take this opportunity to express our heartfelt thanks. To my dear loving Achayan, Shri John Philipose, your tireless dedication to crafting this masterpiece is truly inspiring. Your work will undoubtedly leave an unforgettable mark on the literary world. To our esteemed chief guest, Dr. Alka Pandey, let me thank her also. On behalf of everyone, let me thank Mar Kuriakos Paranikulangra, Archbishop of Eparchy of Faridabad, Dr. Anandabardhan, Sri Prasannan, and Sri M.K.G. Pillai. Thank you, Dr. Lily George, for your eloquent introduction about MOKITA. Your thoughtful words have set the perfect tone for today's celebration. Your insightful remarks about MOKITA and Sri John Philipose have provided a wonderful context for this book release. We appreciate the time and effort you invested in preparing your introduction. Thank you once again for your kind words and gracious presence. Please join me in applauding Dr. Lily George. We extend our deepest gratitude to Ms. Shalini Gupta for believing in this project and providing invaluable support throughout the publication process. We also thank to my dear friend Mr. Girish, Vice President of YMCA, and the entire team of YMCA New Delhi for their relentless efforts in organizing this event. Dear Tindumol Joseph, I really appreciate your beautiful coordination and presentation to beautify this event more colorful. I would also like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to Srimati Rosama Philipose, Chechi, the pillar of strength behind Sri John Philipose. Your unwavering support, encouragement, and patience have been the driving force behind this accomplishment. Thank you for being an incredible partner and inspiration. Last but not least, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you. I cannot name, it is a very big problem for me, who are just not the guests, but cherished friends of Sri John Philipose. We are humbled by your support and look forward to the continued encouragement. Thank you for being part of this journey. Let us celebrate the power of words and ideas. Thank you once again.